My name is Richard Andrew Simpson,
Yeah,
and the spelling is
yeah.
Richard Andrew Simpson.
Simpson.
Yes.
It's rather difficult, right?
Well,
Nobody asked you to spell your name, right?
Well, I'll give you a bit of another hurdle. Because I'm a priest in the church, I also have a title. So that is the Reverend Canon. Do you want that spelled?
Yeah.
You do.
See if you know the spelling. Let me test.
THEREVEREN
Yeah.
Canon CANON.
Beautiful.
And you'll know where the capital letters go?
It's okay. Enough. So what is your birthday?
My birthday?
Yeah.
My birthday is on the 28th of July.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to know what number birthday, do you?
Yeah.
Well, I was born in 1930.
1930. So you are now, how old are you?
I will be 89 this July.
And you look pretty young.
Yes, and I generally feel pretty young, but not currently. I had a bit of an upset, but never mind.
Yeah, I think you did good job with your life. And where were you born?
In Wellington,
Here.
out at the airport, or just at the end of the runway. There were a couple of houses out there, but we didn't last there for very long.
Right.
No.
So that's where that your parents had a house for you? Or tell me about your family background when you were growing up.
Oh, when I was born, I was the first born in the family. My father and my mother. My mother was the daughter of a tradesman who built houses, but particularly in brick.
Oh.
And he built a brick house for them over at the point in Lyall Bay that they moved into.
So your mother's side grandfather built the house for you?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, for them.
For them?
Yeah, well, I didn't exist when it was built. Yeah.
And what about siblings? How many brothers and sisters?
Do I have?
Yeah.
They've all gone.
At the time?
I came along first, and then my brother came, and then my sister came. And then, a good many years later, my sister died. My brother died.
What happened?
My sister had cancer,
Ah.
and my brother had, I just can't remember now, but it took him.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. So you are the only survivor?
Of that family, yes.
Yeah.
I don't have any, I have, yes, and then I go down to my three sons.
I see.
Yeah.
And tell me about the school you went through there.
That Lyall Bay School. Started at Lyall Bay School, and even when we moved out of the house, the original house, and got away from the airport a bit, I still stayed at Lyall Bay School,
Yeah.
and then I went on to Rongatai College.
So the college here means high school?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And when did you graduate from there?
When did I?
When did you graduate from high school?
Oh gosh. Oh, I don't know.
Like 1940,
I'll be 48.
48?
That would make me what, 18?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I didn't go that long. 40, 45, 46.
46.
Perhaps.
And then after you graduated from high school, college, what did you do? Did you get a job or?
Yes, I had several jobs. But there was not too much attention paid to what sort of a job. And I had several. I worked in with Kodak.
Kodak?
Yes.
Oh. What did you do there?
And that was, I helped with the processing of the films and photographs, yes, and that was not so good. And then I moved into a building resource.
Building resource?
Resource. Sold all sorts of things, but...
Okay. Up to that point, did you know anything about Korea? Did you learn anything about Korea from school or...
No.
Nothing? You didn't know nothing, right?
No.
Yeah.
And even if I did, I wasn't very interested. I didn't remember. But mark that, because I have something to say about that.
Say about it, yes. Say, what is it?
When I went to Korea,
Yeah.
but you should know how I worked up to this. I did some education and so on before I went. But when I was asked to go to, to Korea, and I said yes. The strange thing about it, though, is, and I want to put this because it's interesting, on one Sunday, my dear wife-to-be and I decided that we would get engaged.
Wow.
The next...
So you remember that year. When was it?
Oh, yes. That year,
Yeah.
that year was...
1950.
I've got them all written down elsewhere.
You should remember that. Your wife will be angry. 1950, or was it after the Korean War broke out, or before?
After which breakout?
Korean War.
Oh, Korean War. No, well, that's it. That's it, when it broke out. The Korean War broke out, and that's when we got engaged.
Really?
Yes.
1950?
1950. Yes,
Yeah.
that's it. And we got engaged. And we got engaged one Sunday, one weekend, and next weekend I went up to her. She was in Auckland, I was at Ohakia. I went up to her, as I did. I said, sweetie, I've got some news for you that we need to discuss. I said, I have been asked if I will go to Korea.
Asked by whom? Government?
Yes. I was in the Air Force, you see. I was in the Air Force.
Already?
At that stage. Yes.
So when did you join the Air Force, actually?
Oh, I was about 18, I think.
Huh?
I think I was
18?
17 or 18.
17.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
1948, you joined the Air Force.
Yes.
So you actually in the service.
I was in the service, and I was in a department known as the Young Men's Christian Association.
YMCA.
YMCA.
Yeah.
And I ran that place. Now, when they knew that soldiers were coming out of New Zealand and going to Korea, they felt the need to send somebody from New Zealand who has got ability in that area.
Yeah.
And I was chosen.
Chosen by the Air Force.
By the Air Force, yes.
Mm-hmm. So what did you say to your fiancé?
This is what they've asked me to do. Would it be all right if I went?
You are terrible.
No, I'm not. I'm not terrible. That was the most wonderful move that I have ever made in my life, on two grounds. One, on clinging to her for 66 years, even despite the fact we had to delay it a wee bit. A lovely lady.
Mm. And one more ground?
One more what?
You said that on two grounds.
And two is my experience that I gained from the Korean people. Some of it so lovely, some of it so dreadful.
Mm.
But it was not the fault of the dreadful that was on the part of the Koreans, not at all. They are lovely people.
So what is your wife's name?
Merlene, Merlene. But she's
Marlene.
not here now.
Mm.
She died this year.
She passed away this year?
No, I'm not sorry. It'll be last year, February last year.
I am so sorry to hear that.
Thank you very much, and so am I.
So what did she say to you when you asked for if you can go?
Are you happy about this, sweetie? She said, well, if you think you ought to go, I'm happy. Oh, no. She's such a cooperative lady. She's wonderful.
Yeah.
Had a lot of sickness, unfortunately, over the years, but she's superb. So away I went, and I was in Korea for just on 2 years, a bit under 2 years.
Mm-hmm. When did you leave for Korea?
1950. 1950.
Late 1950?
1950 when they first when they went over there, yes.
Mm-hmm.
1950. Yes,
Where did you arrive?
Where was she?
Where did you arrive in Korea?
We did arrive on Christmas Eve, or about then, 1952.
No. Where did you arrive?
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't.
Busan or?
But we didn't stay Busan for long.
Yeah, but you arrived in Busan, right?
Shipping, yes.
Yes.
That was it, because we went on the SS Ormond.
So you arrived in Korea, Busan, on the Christmas Eve
Yes.
of 1950.
Yes.
Okay. And please tell me about the Korea you saw for the first time in your life. How did it look to you at the time? How did people look to you? How did the living conditions, cities, and everything? How did it look to you when you saw for the first time the Korea?
If one could make oneself understood, you'd get lots of laughs. They were just such friendly people, lovely people. And when anything has happened to Korea, as it has done over the years, South Korea I'm talking, I was always very saddened.
Why?
Because they don't deserve being knocked around.
Uh-huh.
No. But anyway, that's one of the things I found about them. They were not happy.
Right.
They were unhappy. I have to say that not everyone. I remember the time I was up there in my tent, and I heard a noise, and a couple of our soldiers came to my tent, and they said, "You should come quickly. There's a lady lying on the train tracks. The train went right past my tent, you see." And out I went, and there she was lying in between the two runners, flat. And I said to her, "Come on, come." And I tried to pick her up. No. I got her out. But that's how far she had got with putting up with life as it was then. But she's not the only one. There were others. Often I found people lying over a track, and I go and lead them off.
So they want to kill themselves.
They want to kill themselves and get away from this mayhem, or whatever you like to call it. And I think I have to say that. That the Korean people were regarded by a lot of New Zealanders anyway as lower part of our society, which was not. I had the finger pointed at me on a number of occasions because I was seen to come back from the village or wherever I was without a shirt on. And they said, "What are you doing without a shirt on? Where is it?" And I said, "I've just given it away to a young Korean lad who was topless, and he was cold." I said to him, "Why are you like that? Aren't you cold?" He said, "Yes, I am." And I gave him my shirt. I did that on a number of occasions. I don't care what other people thought. the care for those little children was what mattered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was miserable conditions there.
Not for us, not for the soldiers, the New Zealand soldiers, I mean, but for the civilian people that lived there.
Yes.
That was the trouble, and I think that things could have been better for them. But when you've got a jolly war with another country hanging over your head, well, I guess that determines to a very large extent what your response is going to be. But I was so upset one day. I was in a car being driven by a chauffeur, and there was one of our trucks just up the road a wee bit, and some of our fellows on back. And as they pulled past, there was a group of Korean people walking up the road, and as they walked up the road, the truck went by them, and one of the walkers up the road was a shortish lady with no doubt a treasured container of rice on her head, carrying it, you see. As we went back, oh, I shall never forget this, as we went by, one of our smart alecky fellows put out his hand and
Oh.
rice everywhere, that poor woman. Now, that's the most dreadful. Where's his feelings, Eddie? Oh, I don't know. But there are, other things like that too. That,
At the time, what did you do? What was your specialty? What was your unit?
YMCA.
YMCA?
And looked after, look, we had.
Even in Korea?
And I was in Korea for nearly 2 years.
And you did take care of the YMCA there?
Yeah, they didn't have one there. We had to establish one with the army.
But no. Oh. I'm talking about your specialty as an army person, soldier. Yes. What was your specialty?
Oh, well, I was YMCA secretary.
Okay.
YMCA secretary, and I was in charge there, yes.
In Korea?
In Korea.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there were two of us went over, and the other one, he was as useful as I don't know.
So what did you do then, actually? Tell me the specific things that you did as a YMCA organizer.
We had facilities there for them to come and relax. We had a large tent. They came in, they could get a cup of coffee, a cup of tea. They could sit down and play a game of indoor games, they can. We didn't have a snooker table because they were too heavy to move. We couldn't, far too heavy. But at least it was somewhere that was no one's land but everyone's land.
Yeah. Oh, that's a very special mission.
Yes.
So you were chosen to do that, and what was your rank at the time?
I carried no rank. I just carried status, and that was officer status.
Officer
and I was
status.
in the officer status. Yes.
Yeah. But you officially in the army, right?
Oh yes, officially in the army. Yes, I was. But I don't know if you want me to go on talking now about what happened.
Yes, please tell me about it. Yeah.
We were there. Yeah. We were told that we were going to be there for just about 12 months. Well, 12 months came and went, and we got into the second year, and it must have been about 3 months into it, and word came out that all who came in the original draft would be repatriated to New Zealand in June.
June of 1951?
52.
Yeah.
June of 51, 52, that's right, June of 52. So I thought, that's good. Now, Merlene wrote over to me and she said, are you coming back? Oh no, I let her know I was coming back then.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, that's great. Now she said, I've been talking to Mum and Dad about that, and they got married on the 22nd of November. And she said it would be rather lovely if we could get married on the same day as that, because they're celebrating an anniversary, we celebrate our wedding. I said, that's great, go for it. That was June. July, August,
yeah,
September, October, almost the end of October, and don't forget we're looking at the next month as the marriage day. I'd not been touched, so I went to the colonel or the brigadier, whatever he was then, and I said, "Could you please tell me if I'm likely to be home in time for my funeral, for my wedding, for my wedding on the 22nd of November?" Mm-hmm. He looked. He said, "Oh, you will," he said. Hmm. And they sent me back by the Australian airline, mm-hmm. and then landed me in Evans Bay, just out of in Wellington. No, from Australia. I went across in the float boat. Flew into Evans Bay on the
Yes.
flying boat.
Yeah.
And there the family were all waiting, and so I had to get to know my dear wife again. No problem.
Good.
No problem.
Yeah.
God, we wrote constantly and so on. And we were organised, and we stood at the altar on the 22nd of November, and both of us said, "I do," yes. But there's more to it than that. The priest that married us was the chaplain in Korea.
Oh.
And he came back just before I came back, and he agreed to officiate at our wedding, which he did.
So you knew him?
Oh, know him. I worked a lot because with my work as YMCA, it's caring for people.
Yeah.
You see, and yes, I had a lot of dealings with him. He would tell me something about somebody, and vice versa, and that was helpful. Yes, we got on very well. And I have to say that I am where I am today with a degree in theology. When I came back, I then started studying, you see. But here I am, all these years later, with a degree, with a lovely family, all the things that one would ever want.
But how can you go more specifically? How does Korean War affect you as a person?
As a person, because I had in my work be caring for people. It wasn't just New Zealand people. My love for people certainly didn't stop at the service person.
Yeah.
And I used to try. I would help the Korean people as much as I could. I gave many shirts away, if you like. Yes, I did. And I had a lot of time for them. They're very lovely people.
So that's the end of your service in Korea, right? Did you go back to Korea?
No, I didn't.
You
no,
didn't?
I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
That was it when I came home. Well, it was nearly 2 years, you see.
Mm-hmm.
22 months, I think. Yes, no, that was... Yeah.
So when you were in Korea, where were you? Were you in... Where were you?
Well, up where the guns were. We had
So you were at the far front?
Oh, yes.
So
not right where the guns are, because that's everything. They're shooting into that area, and they don't want us to be in there.
Right.
But no, back a bit from there, that's all.
So do you remember where you were, like Kansas Line or Hill 355, Imjin River, anything?
Imjin, yes. Oh, I can't. No, I do have trouble trying to remember those places now. It is a long time ago, 70 years ago. Yes, it's 70 years ago.
But you were close to the front line.
What do you call close? It would not be 100 yards. It would be more than that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
because if you're exposing the whole of your organisation to the war part of it, and they can't afford to have that.
Right. Were there any dangerous moment that you could have lost your life during your service in Korea?
Was there any dangerous moments when I could have lost my life? Well, I suppose there were more in Korea than in New Zealand, because one did not know what was going to happen next. But I didn't. If so, I didn't dwell on them.
Okay.
And I can't remember now.
And you never went back to Korea after you left Korea?
No, I came back to New Zealand. I took my release from the service and offered myself to the bishop, who accepted me, and then I was into college.
College.
And I did that, and then I went back to the Air Force for a number of years as a chaplain.
Chaplain.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
And as a chaplain, I was 2 years in Singapore, but that's not Korea.
Mm-hmm, do you know what happened to Korea now? The Korean economy and Korean society, democracy, everything about now, modern Korea. Do you follow up with it?
No, I don't.
You don't know?
No, I don't. What can I do?
Do you know that the Korean economy is so well developed now? It's the 11th largest.
Oh, I know
economy.
that. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So that's what I'm asking.
Yes.
What do you know about
yes.
modern Korea? What do you know? Tell me, please.
Oh, it's a different establishment altogether, but they've still got their problem with the north.
Exactly.
Haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
But they leave the north cold. They have really established a name for themselves in what they have done, and I think it's a very good country.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever thought that Korea would become like this today when you left Korea?
I don't know. When you leave a place that's at war, although I felt that they were keeping the enemy at bay, and I felt that I didn't think that and I happen to believe, rightly or wrongly, that there is a God Almighty involved in this somewhere, and I happen to think that He was being involved here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just about to quote the Bible text in Matthew 25. When the king came back, he divided the whole nation into two groups.
Yes.
To his right, he said, tell me please, do you know? He said that you gave me water when I felt thirsty.
That's right. Yes.
You gave me food when I am hungry.
Yes.
And you visited me and consoled me when I was in prison.
Yeah.
And then they said, when did I do that, right? You are the king. When did I give you the water? When I give you the food?
Oh, that's right. When did you? Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
They asked
that's
us.
in the Matthew chapter 25, right?
Yes.
And then Jesus said,
no, I can't answer that.
whatever you did to one of my
That's right. Yes, I remember it now.
least of my brothers and sisters, you did it to me.
My problem today at my age is I have problems recalling things,
Yeah, right.
remembering things like that. But once you sow a little seed, I can.
Yeah. So it's in the chapter 25, and what you did to Korean kids, giving your shirt to them, you did it for him.
Oh yes.
Yeah. The least, whatever you did for the least of my brothers and sisters, you did it to me.
Yes.
I think that's what.
Do you know, I've never thought of that.
Yeah, I am Christian too, and
Yes.
I'm reading it, and I found out that when I read the chapter 25,
Yes.
I figured that, with or without consciousness, whatever the New Zealand soldiers or any other soldiers did, good for the Korean kids or the Korean people, they did it for Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I have a faith in it.
Well, yes. But then on the other side of it, there would be a lot of them who were doing it, but not realizing that they're doing it for the Lord. They get it because that's doing what comes naturally.
Naturally.
Yes.
Yeah, out of conscience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of good behavior.
Yes.
So what do you think about whole this experience as a Korean War veteran? Your case was very special. You worked in YMCA
Yes.
and helped other soldiers to calm down and
have some recreation.
Exactly.
And just a bit of
relaxing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So what do you think about whole this thing? You didn't know anything about Korea. You didn't know where Korea was. Now you are a Korean War veteran and you did all those things. What do you think about whole thing?
Oh, I am absolutely thrilled that I got there. And I often said this to Merlene, you know, I'm so pleased that we delayed our wedding and didn't come back from, I'm so pleased that I didn't refrain from going to Korea.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe that was that experience. I missed you terribly. I missed other things terribly. But I have ended up
Mm-hmm.
where I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's
And I just can I just say something to you? Look, it's not blowing my own trumpet. It's not telling how good I am. Nothing like that.
Yeah, right.
But many people, I just need to go into a church where I have been the priest, and they're all over me. I was in the cathedral the other day. I was subbed in there, and there the other day, and they were arms around my necks, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, we missed you, miss you, but so I think I'm probably a people's man, a people's person, and yes.
You've been to Korea, Korean people like that too, you know? I think so, yeah.
Well, I think I would have, but the duration for which we knew each other was not so long, because they come and go, they can go. But no, I have a great love and always have done. And I was excited just recently when I read in the newspaper that they had come ahead and they were on top of things now,
Mm-hmm.
and they jolly well deserve it. Praise God.
Yes, so that's what I am believing too. So what is Korea to you now? You didn't know much about it, but now, what is Korea to you personally?
Well, certainly personally, Korea is the catalyst in setting me off on my life's work, first of all. But I enjoyed the people. They're friendly people. I always found so. Friendly. But you'll always find, I guess, that with service people, many service people would let themselves drop to rock bottom in their behaviour with people, with locals. They think they've got the upper hand. And it happened. I think I did mention this one to Elaine, whether I should speak about it or not, but we had a chappie, an army officer he was, and I might have been a sergeant then, he was an officer later, but he was in a car with some other people, and I was in another car. I forget where we were going, it doesn't matter, but his car stopped for a moment, and he got out and he said, I'm going to have this one, and he took out of the car a woman and raped her.
Whoa, in front of you?
Oh, just over a wee bit, where
Yeah.
we couldn't see, it was night time. Yes, and we drove on in our car. How cute. No respect at all for the human race.
And that is the tragedy of war.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
Of course it is.
yeah.
Because I think that what I have to say to you though
Yes.
is that if you
Yeah.
if you need something taken back to Korea at any stage, you could get me to take it. Yes. Not that I'd know any today,
Yeah,
but they know. They are lovely people.
yeah.
You are South Korean.
Yes.
Yeah, you got
I'm originally from South Korea, but live in the United States.
yes. Oh, I was going to say you're becoming more and more like Europeans.
Yes, I'm Korean, South Korean.
Yes.
And next year will be 70th anniversary of the breakout of the Korean War, and Korean War has never finished yet. It's been 70 years almost.
Yes.
I mean, it's almost 70 years since we signed the armistice,
Yes.
official ceasefire, but we haven't replaced it with the peace treaty at all. What do you think about this? Isn't it ridiculous to see that war last more than 70 years like this? What do you think about
Has it been going all the time?
Not
No,
war at
no,
the time,
not
but
at the no.
never been replaced by the peace treaty.
Right. Right.
And still technically at war.
Yes.
And
yes,
Trump,
Yes. Yes.
President Trump and Kim Jong-un of North Korea meeting again in Hanoi in Vietnam.
Oh.
And they still talking about the war. So what do you think about the whole thing? Where is God's providence on the Korean Peninsula?
That is ridiculous, talking like that. Yeah, that I don't know what to say for that, but it's just outlandish. It really is. I think it's probably because neither have got are too proud to say signing on the dotted line. There's going to be a treaty, isn't there?
I hope so. We
Yeah.
want to have a peace treaty
Yes.
to be signed so that we can end the war
Yes.
and end this hatred,
Yes.
all these things.
Yes.
But still there, and it's been there like that for forever.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
There are a lot of families been separated, north and south.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that some north ones went south, do you? And for some, well, they didn't need, no.
No,
Yes,
they
north
couldn't
went-
come down.
They couldn't come. No, they
no.
couldn't come down, no.
Right. So that's what we are trying to resolve, possibly reunification.
Yes.
What would you say to the people in the world about the war you fought for? What would you say about the Korean War to the people in the world?
In the war,
Yeah. About the war to the people in the world.
to the Korean people of today.
Or New Zealand or anybody. Yeah. What would you say about the war you
Look,
experienced?
Like every war, ridiculous from the start. You never get anywhere by beating people up. And the God we worship in His Son is forever telling us that peace, peace, peace.
Mm-hmm.
And we certainly invoke that because we're too proud, too proud. Nobody likes wars, and the Korean War is in that category.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was great when things allowed us to come home. In my case, that Korean War experience was what determined my entire future. My concern for people just developed more and more. Well, as I said, I came back and studied for the priesthood. And here I am, still with it,
Exactly.
although sort of retired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I wish the young generations learn from your experience, that you witness those tragedy and goodness among the people and your relationship with them. So those are the things that we need to learn from your experience about the
yes.
Korean War,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any other message to the young generations in New Zealand as a priest?
Yes. Coming from a place like New Zealand, I often think of Korea, particularly when I go to the hospital and visit children who have been sick. And I think to myself, what difference are they from the children in any other country? They're all the same. They are God's children, and they deserve to have the best that life can give them. It's not a game. There was something in the paper just a day or two ago about people using, words fail me, they really do. But we engender badness in our own society.
So what should we do?
What should we do? Yes, I wonder, because if I had the answer, I would be there. I really don't. When you're dealing with man, you're dealing with problems. You've got problems. You really have. Because free will is something that can be changed at any moment, at any price.
This is kind of exceptional interview. You served as a person who served in the YMCA during the Korean War, and you became priest, and you served the people, right?
Yeah, in
and
New Zealand.
God in New Zealand. And this is a very special message, and we'll make sure that this interview will be heard among many young generations so that they can learn from you.
That would be good, because I was just 20 when I went there, 20. When I came back, I was 22, and then went on to college to do my degree. By the time I got there, we had one child and another one nearly arriving. But there we are. Yeah.
Thank you so much again.
My friend, I'm